Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little rebellious. We're going to break down exactly how to get smoky-ish, beautifully lacquered, melt-in-your-mouth ribs using nothing but your standard kitchen oven. If you've ever felt like authentic tasting barbecue was totally out of reach just because you don't have a massive backyard smoker, well, you're in the exact right place. Let's deconstruct the culinary rules we need to break to pull this off. Okay, so let's just dive right into the ultimate dilemma that stops so many apartment dwellers and home cooks from even attempting real barbecue. Do you actually need a smoker? Traditionalists will look you dead in the eye and tell you that without a dedicated rig, low and slow ambient heat, and hours of tending a wood fire, you're basically just making a roast. But today, we're going to look at the exact mechanics of what makes ribs great and reverse engineer that entire process. No expensive outdoor equipment required. I absolutely love this quote because it sets our gold standard for success today. If that rib bone doesn't slide on out real nice and smooth, then you need help. That is literally what we are aiming for. When you take a bite or when you pull on that bone, it should yield effortlessly. We want that extreme, fall off the bone tenderness, but we also want that sticky, caramelized crust. And we're going to hit that standard without breaking a single traditional barbecue rule. Well, actually, scratch that. We're going to break literally all of them. Section 1. Crafting the rub. The coffee secret. Look, before we apply even a single grain of seasoning, prep is absolutely crucial. You've got to flip that rack over and get rid of that tough membrane on the back. You can usually spot it. It looks like a shiny, hard film. You really can't just cut through it, and more importantly, it absolutely will not cook off in the oven. So you just have to work your fingers underneath it, get a good grip, and peel the whole thing off, trying your very best to avoid making any inappropriate jokes while you do it. Once that's gone, the entire rib piece is wonderfully edible, and our rub can actually penetrate the meat. Now let's talk flavor foundation. You've got your usual suspects, about 20 grams or 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, a tablespoon of brown sugar for caramelization, a tablespoon of smoked paprika to start faking that wood fire vibe, and a tablespoon of garlic powder. But here is our secret weapon. We're adding 2 tablespoons, about 10 grams of fresh, high-quality, finely ground coffee. Just give all of this a little whiskey business until it's thoroughly combined. That coffee is a total game changer. It adds this incredible, earthy, roasted depth that perfectly makes up for the lack of actual wood smoke. Section 2. The foil envelope. Steaming to perfection. So, since we aren't spending 6 hours babysitting a smoker outdoors, we need a workaround to rapidly break down those tough connective tissues while keeping the pork incredibly moist. First, generously massage that coffee spice blend all over the racks. Next, place each rack onto a large piece of aluminum foil. And right before you close it up, hit it with a splash of vinegar. Yuzu rice vinegar is fantastic here, but apple cider works perfectly fine too. Then, fold the foil up and crimp it tightly at the top. You have to create an absolute seal here. Seriously, 0 leaks on the edges. If steam escapes, your ribs dry out and the whole hack is ruined. Once your envelopes are perfectly sealed, pop them in the oven and let them bake for 2.5 to 3 hours. What's happening in there? Well, the moisture from the meat and that splash of vinegar turns into steam, which gets trapped inside the foil. It creates this high-pressure, moist environment that literally melts the collagen right out of the meat. By the time that timer goes off, you'll have reached that extreme, fall-off-the-bone tenderness we were talking about earlier. Section 3. Simmering the sauce. Thick and sticky. While your oven does the heavy lifting for the meat's texture, let's build that iconic, thick barbecue lacquer. Making your own sauce gives you total control, and we're combining a very precise blend of wet and dry ingredients here. You'll need 1 cup of ketchup, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of kosher salts, 2 tablespoons each of white vinegar and yuzu, or apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 cup of water, and a tablespoon each of garlic powder and smoked paprika. Oh, and you can even toss in a splash of dashi if you're feeling fancy. Simmer this exact blend of sweet, salty, and acidic goodness over medium heat for 30 minutes. You are looking for a beautifully reduced, super thick, and sticky consistency. Now, if you want to be a total show-off and take this to the next level for true smoke flavor, try cold smoking the sauce right on your kitchen counter. If you happen to have a cold smoking gun, this is exactly where you use it. You just pump the wood smoke directly into the bowl of your fresh barbecue sauce, cover it tightly with plastic wrap, and let it sit for 10 minutes. Do that 2 to 3 times, and it infuses the sauce with this genuine, rich smoke flavor that will absolutely fool people into thinking you spent all day tending a fire. Section 4. The glaze and char, finishing the ribs. So, we need to bridge the gap between oven-steamed meat and sticky, caramelized barbecue. You can finish them right away, but they are going to be incredibly fragile fresh out of the oven. Because we steamed them to absolute submission, they might literally fall apart when you try to move them. Chilling them overnight in the fridge, that's the pro move. As they cool, the meat firms up, meaning these insanely tender ribs will actually hold their shape together perfectly when you transfer them to the hot grades for the final step. Whether you're firing up a grill outside or just using your oven's broiler, the goal is high, direct heat. Slap those ribs down and immediately start brushing on that thick, smoky sauce. The real secret here is constant glazing. You baste, let it bubble and caramelize, and then you baste again. You're building layer upon layer to create this glossy, mouth-watering lacquer that would make traditional pitmasters super jealous. And make sure you get a little bit of crispy char on those edges too. Section 5. St. Louis versus baby back. Choosing the cut. When you're at the butcher counter, you generally have two main choices for pork ribs. And for this specific indoor method, one is definitively better than the other. Think about the shape. Baby back ribs have a naturally bent, curved profile. Because of that extreme curve, our thick glaze has a harder time adhering evenly, and it doesn't get into the nooks and crannies as effectively. St. Louis ribs, on the other hand, are much flatter and more uniform. That means our sauce paints on perfectly and caramelizes evenly across the whole surface, giving you a much better bite. For this no-smoker hack, St. Louis ribs easily get a 10 out of 10. Think about it. We just took one of the most rigidly protected traditions in cooking, barbecue, and proved that with some smart techniques, like a sealed foil steam environment, an espresso-infused rub, and an aggressively layered glaze, you can get absolutely phenomenal results without any of the traditional equipment. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Now, I leave you with this thought to ponder for your next kitchen experiment. If you can master authentic barbecue using just your oven, what other rigid culinary rules are just waiting to be broken?